Hello, I'm Carolyn Herbert from the Finance News Network, and joining me from Viatar CTC Solutions is President and CEO Ilan Reich. Ilan, welcome back.
Thank you very much.
Now, for investors who aren't familiar with your company, can you start by giving us a brief introduction to Viatar?
Viatar is the cancer dialysis company. People understand intuitively that dialysis purifies the blood, in the case of people with kidney failure, of the toxins. In the same way, our system and our therapy purifies the blood of tumor cells which circulate in the blood and are responsible for spreading cancer to distant sites.
And to your dialysis machines, how do they actually work?
The system is composed of a machine with pumps, sensors, much like a dialysis machine, and then a disposable single-use circuit that includes tubing and a filter. The filter is the proprietary part of our technology. It has 160 million pores that are very, very small, laser machined, and those pores allow normal blood cells to flow through, but they're too small to allow the larger and stiffer circulating tumor cells to pass through. In that way, we do a mechanical separation of a huge percentage, over 90% of the circulating tumor cells that are in a patient's body.
And Ilan, at what stage are the machines at in the approvals process?
We're just about finished with the validation and testing so that we can begin our human trials early next year. The machines are built under the regulatory framework, both in Europe, FDA, around the world. You have to demonstrate safety of the machine, the software has been validated, the manufacturing process works, and the fluid circuits are sterile. So we anticipate starting our human clinical trials early next year.
So when do you expect to go into production, and when will sales commence?
Once we finish the clinical trials by the end of next year and get regulatory approval, that's when we begin commercialization. So parallel to doing the clinical trials, we will be scaling up our manufacturing and being prepared for a commercial launch with dozens of these machines ready to go into the clinics and hospitals of key oncology leaders, initially in Europe. And also obviously producing thousands of these filter sets because they're single use and involve a lot of complex technology.
And Ilan, now to your IPO, how much are you looking to raise, and why did you decide to list in Australia?
The offering is for 7 to 12 million, and we chose Australia because this is a very thriving market for medical technology companies. There are a couple of very good examples of companies with very good valuations and growing products. There's also ultimately a Australian R&D credit for doing research here, and we're actively exploring that opportunity as well.
And what is the high-level investment case as outlined in your IPO prospectus?
First of all, this is a large market. There are 10 million patients each year, new patients with metastatic cancer. If we have only a 1% market share, that would equate ultimately to a almost $2 billion Australian dollar top-line revenue. And with the manufacturing efficiencies and the proprietary nature of our technology, this would be a very profitable company, somewhere on the order of a 30% operating margin. The valuation today in Australia is $1 a share US, which is equivalent to what the founders paid 8 years ago for the stock. And by contrast, both Australia and on the US markets, medical device companies, once they achieve begin commercialization and have regulatory approval, typically sell for $200 to $400 million. So there's a huge value gap, and we think that we'll see some substantial price appreciation as we achieve our milestones and gain more and more support from the medical and investment communities.
And finally, Ilan, where would you like to see the company 12 months from now, and what's your long-term ambition for Viatar?
12 months from now, we should have our CE mark approval, which means we will have passed our phase 1 and phase 2 clinical trials and shown the safety and basic efficacy of the system. We will have begun commercial sales in Europe, probably on a private pay basis, as well as Canada, Mexico, possibly here in Asia Pacific. We will have begun active discussions with the FDA on our human clinical trial, phase 3 trial in the US. We've already had preliminary talks with them, and we have a pretty good roadmap of where we're going. So that in 2018, we would be rolling out our commercial effort with reimbursement in Germany, France, and England, the 3 major countries where we could get reimbursement quickly, be doing our FDA trial, and moving towards FDA approval in probably 2019, assuming all goes well.
Ilan Reich, thanks for the update.
Thank you.